everyone, and welcome to Harvard Divinity School's second consecutive virtual graduation ceremony. Who could ever have imagined that outcome when we closed down our campus in March 2020? I extend a special welcome to our long-enduring students and their equally long-enduring parents and friends. I love our annual commencement, and I'm so sorry not to be able to host you in person, to see you and to hear inspiring stories of sacrificial love and support for our wonderful graduates, the unforgettable class of 2021. Here I am speaking again from Jewett House with a view of our campus, still locked down but certainly transformed with the renovation of Swartz Hall, now almost complete and ready for our expected return in the fall. But you've had to endure without that reward, and for that I'm truly sorry. You've been called upon to complete your education in the most unusual circumstances in our school's 200-year-plus history. Indeed, one of the most difficult times in our country's history. So to begin, I want to acknowledge all you have brought to these months and years. You have shown astonishing courage, strength, flexibility, and perseverance. You have attended classes remotely, built relationships from a distance, and I hope found some purpose and meaning in your devotion to the enduring values of our institution: fearless inquiry, ethical leadership, and educational excellence. For all you have borne with such grace and imagination during this pandemic, all of us at HDS are deeply grateful. We could not be prouder of what you have accomplished. As we gather remotely today, I want to remind you that President Bacow has promised that we will invite you back for a real in-person celebration when it is safe to do so. I so look forward to seeing each of you in person, under the tents with food tables and champagne, spectacular garb, hugs with friends, twinkling eyes full of pride and joy, and of course even your embarrassing friends and family members. I promise you that day will come. All of you probably remember back in March 2020 when our lives were upended by the global coronavirus pandemic. Little did any of us know what a consequential year it would be, with more bitter racial injustice, the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent nationwide protests, a tumultuous election and the attack on the Capitol on January 6th of this year, the race to create safe, effective vaccines in the midst of a cruel disease and lonely, isolated deaths. And yet you showed up again and again to be witnesses against injustice, to be activists and concerned citizens, and to be caring members of a special community, even on Zoom. For all that, the faculty and staff of HDS are very grateful. This year also brought change to our own priorities at HDS, especially our deliberate attempts in centering race and social justice in our community. I know many of you participated in Dean Bartholomew's Reorientation and Common Read program, where we explored issues of race and restorative justice in America, and began deliberately to acknowledge the seizure of land and labor from Native Americans and enslaved Africans. That is an inescapable part of our history. We still have so much more to do, which will be the work of years, but I'm glad so many of you contributed to it in your time at HDS. You've made us better than we were and closer to who we want to be. I want to acknowledge and celebrate what else we have managed to accomplish in these years. We have taught and learned, first together, then apart. I got to know many of you in person, then through Zoom, seeing what your living rooms and studies are like and how your plants and pets were doing. Our academic events, panels, and talks saw a huge rise in attendance as the barriers of time and distance were lowered through technology. We were able to host scholars from afar who might not otherwise have been able to join us. Above all, you have shown the resilience to make the most of a most unusual time. I know this is not what you signed up for 2 or 3 years ago when you arrived at Harvard Divinity School with eager anticipation to come and learn and help change the world. But you persisted in ways large and small, and you're already agents of change with your strength and commitment. So what to say at a moment like this? I would like to share just a few words from a recent book entitled The Empathy Diaries by Sherry Turkle, Professor of Science and Technology, and founding director of the MIT Initiative on Technology and the Self. Her book is about the ways in which gadgets, smartphones, computers, and apps have stripped us of vital parts of our humanity, especially during the pandemic, when Zoom calls, video recordings, and mute buttons have dominated our lives. She concludes, quote, "As I finish writing this book in the fall of 2020, we find ourselves alone together, exactly there. In the crucible of an enforced isolation, we explored the limits of where our screens can take us. As technology became our lifeline, we realized how much we missed the full embrace of the human. The amazing thing about living through dramatic change is that you're right there when something that once seemed odd begins to seem natural. The trick is to remember why it once seemed odd, because that might be a reason worth remembering." Over the past year, we have had to rely on technology, virtual learning, and social distancing simply to get through. But as we emerge from this pandemic, we need to figure out what we have learned beyond the academic content of the classroom. One thing we know we have learned is how public health crises magnify the social injustices and inequities of our environments, not just local and national, but as India is showing us, international as well. We also know that the more our attention is manipulated by our devices and our isolation, the more we become mere objects. And when we are treated as objects, we're encouraged to objectify one another and, of course, ourselves. The vaccine for this disease, according to Turkle, is human empathy, investment in relationships, and a steady determination to make a humane difference in the world. So I'd like to finish with the closing stanza of the poem by Amanda Gorman at this year's presidential inauguration. "We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, and every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. A new dawn looms as we free it, for there is always light if only we are brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it."
Ana del Castillo, Jackson, Mississippi, daughter of dreamers, creator, believer that a better world is possible.
Ebony Rain Nash, Eads, Colorado, practitioner of liberation, activist, and healer.
Kayla Jaquez Smith, Memphis, Tennessee, womanist, justice seeker, lover.
Malini Sri Krishna, Tamil, Bengaluru, India, daughter to Chitra and Sri Krishna, entrepreneur, creating foundations for liberation.
When HDS contacted this group of women of color to let us know that our peers nominated us to serve as their commencement speaker, we had one thought: why not all of us? At this university, in this capitalist system, we are told to compete rather than to co-create. In this speech, we, Anna,
Ebony,
Kayla,
Malini,
weave our stories, our passions, our calls to justice into a mosaic of wisdom that we hope resonates with the graduating class. We bring the communities that shaped us, Jackson, Mississippi, Peru, Bolivia, and the spirits who guided us here into this space. We ask that you do the same. What communities guided you at Harvard Divinity School? From where are you watching this virtual service, and who is next to you? In this moment of celebration and jubilation, I invite you to speak those names aloud. I say the names of Sally, Julio, Sara, Andrew, Charlotte, Aaron. I say the names of elders, Nell and Panchita. This graduation, this accomplishment is created in and by community. Today, may we feel the presence of our ancestors and give gratitude for every smile, uplifting comment, and offering that brought us to this moment. In writing this speech, I reflected deeply on my last 3 years at HDS. I thought about so many of you, my peers, the classmates whose stories and lived experiences taught me more than any peer-reviewed text or professor. I often describe HDS as a place of intense personal and spiritual development. During my time here, I have traveled to Tijuana, Mexico, to assist asylum seekers pursuing safety and freedom at our southern border. I visited Palestine with Professor Moore's Narratives of Belonging and Displacement course to witness and respond to the failures of U.S. imperialist policies and neocolonialism. I have been challenged by Sheikh Yasser Fahmy to confront my ego and pursue spiritual resonance with my Creator. I have been brought to my knees in wonder and amazement of our divine Creator. HDS has taught me to find and love the God within myself by allowing me to see the God and light in all of you. Each of us walks away from this place with stories of challenge, stories of empowerment, and moments that changed us for the better. Hold on to those memories and relationships and use them to build the better world that is possible. The better world that is in the making because you exist. A better world is in the making because you exist.
Small town girl makes it to big time Harvard, a saying that echoes the streets of my hometown. Growing up in a community of 800 people, I never thought of Harvard to be an attainable goal. Low income, first generation, woman of color. The barriers were preset. In addition, I identify as a child of an incarcerated parent. Having to internalize the societal shame, stigma, and stereotypes at a young age prompted me to have a limited mindset. I remember when I was younger, my mom would come into the room to wake me up for school. She would sit gently next to me alongside the bed, place her hand on my back, and begin to tickle me up and down my spine. We called it the caterpillar. This is a grounding memory for me because the experience of the caterpillar was so sweet and so precious. It was as if she was lifting all the pain and pressure and hardships off my back, preparing me for the day ahead. My mother is a strong woman, working at times 5 jobs just to care for my sister and I. In a world so unmerciful as ours, I thank our Creator for giving me such a gracious and strong-willed mother. She is whom I inherit the lens in which I see the world, the way in which I love others so freely. My mother is the embodiment of eternal love. The moment I stepped into Harvard, I dedicated my presence to my accountable community, and I want to name them here. People experiencing incarceration, marginalized and underrepresented communities, children with incarcerated parents, and my brothers and sisters of the Muskogee Creek Nation. As each of us have taken up our cross and embarked on this journey ahead, ask yourself, who is your accountable community? Who are the people that laid the road for you, that set your table, and have fed you along the way? Who is it that you want to feed, to nourish, to love? Our time at HDS has been like none others, starting with the removal of the great oak tree, displacing our studies into a building that is not of tradition at HDS, and then struck with a global pandemic. We often study apocalyptic narratives in our work. But who would have thought we would be living one of our own? Forced into praxis, our degrees are worth so much more than a virtual celebration. I see you. I see each of you for the work that you've done, and so I ask, at what degree is it considered the boiling point? Is it the master's degree? The point where our passions, lived experiences, and co-opted community boiled to the top. We can't help but be great. And if this is our boiling point, the aroma must be delightful. May you use your knowledge, connections, and resources found here at HDS and build a community like none other. May you reallocate, redistribute, and reform the systems upon us in the name of justice, in the name of peace, and in the name of love. Class of 2021, congratulations. My friends, we have made it. And like the great W.E.B. Du Bois once said, the honor, I assure you, was Harvard's. The honor, we assure you, was Harvard's.
I have been transformed while at Harvard Divinity by gaining better knowledge and appreciation of my roots, and by being in community and struggle with such wonderful humans. It was my people and Black ancestry that brought me to HDS. I come from the lineages of the Smiths, Sharps, Gossets, Watkins, Reynolds, and the Stricklands. Black culture and the rich spirituality that come from places like Memphis, Tennessee, and Birmingham, Alabama, truly sustains me. I'm constantly inspired when I listen to the Southern Black brilliance of Beyoncé, or the radically honest, poetic, and revolutionary words from Tupac Shakur. Through creative expressions from the people, I've gained a clear understanding of how much we really do not take care of each other and make sure people are well. We are all aware of this, and with this knowledge comes responsibility. We all have a responsibility to not only be truth tellers, but people of action. Being grounded in that undeniable truth of all of our full humanity motivates me to be intentionally working with and for others. With genuine relationship building and personal accountability, we can begin to all be liberated from the shackles of white supremacy. Real freedom and elimination of suffering in this world has to be the end goal in every community we are a part of. The students of HDS help me stay grounded in this. I'm so grateful for the many genuine moments with my peers. My dear friend, Tom Maradada, and I were the only two Black MDiv students in our 2018 incoming class. We understood the importance of our time here at HDS as something much greater than the two of us. I have been in classes and have organized with Anna, Ebony, and Malini. They have all been shining examples of pouring love and radical honesty into our shared spaces together. All of our beliefs in collaboration and being innovators is why we found it necessary to deliver a joint commencement speech. In the words of Frankie Beverly and Mays, we are one. No matter what we do, we are one. Love will see us through, and that's the way it is. I pray for the well-being of all graduates and for the continued growth of HDS. The histories, theologies, and cultures we study and practice at HDS are very important. The world unfortunately reminds us of this every single day. I encourage everyone listening to this speech to never give up on the possibility of change or in the power of folks working together. Never give up on the possibility of change.
Growing up occupying identities and abilities that could not be named, should not have had to be named, losing friends to systems and substances, a pain that was shrouded by silence and shame, being dehumanized was normalized. These experiences I will not further delve into, not because I do not wish to keep reliving them, but because I hope not to be determined by where I come from as much as where I hope to go. What brought me here is a deep concern for truth, in a world that is being torn apart by lies, by hatred and separation. I believe that it is this shared concern for truth that binds our whole community at Harvard Divinity School together. We all crave to represent love in a world that is crying out for its representation. In my time at HDS, I have been witness to each of our individual and collective quests for knowledge. For many of us, this has looked nothing less than the pursuit of liberation itself. I firmly believe that liberation is a collective struggle, a shared destiny. Today, I stand with 3 other people who were destined to do this work, destined to touch my life and teach me lessons I could not have learned in a more humbling, humorous, and hopeful space. 3 most striking lessons are: Lesson 1, that leadership is about enabling people to lead. It is about being the captain of a ship whose destination is collectively determined by everyone on board. It is not about an individual. It is about a vision that is worth weathering all the storms. Lesson 2, that sometimes love needs to be tough if it is to remain true, that love without respect and honesty is not love at all, that a relationship is better lost than not based in a relentlessly and fiercely truthful love. And Lesson 3, that our identities may shape us, our roots may determine how we came to be and how we are in the world, but they do not have to determine where we go or how we imagine the world to be and who we grow and get there with. As we embark on the journey that is the rest of our lives, I want to pay my respect to this space, our Harvard Divinity School. that gave us unique opportunities to imagine how we could shape the world through love and move against the abundance of hatred that plagues it. This space allowed for the intertwining of our unpopular paths paved by humor, prayer, resilience, and unconditional daring. I learned laughter is the language of God. When I speak of this space, I do not speak of the classrooms or the curriculum. I speak of my community, everyone who has led me, listened to me, and loved me. So today, I too want to make sure you know that I see you. I speak directly to your humanity, to your energy, to God, to whatever name you choose to call the divine, that we join our spirits together on this quest to not only seek truth, but create cures that can vanquish unnatural hatred and separation in a world that is so naturally beautiful. Thank you to all the people who held me and brought me here. Thank all the people who held you and brought you here. I thank you, Amma and Appa, Ragini, Pati and Tata. You taught me, in the words of Langston Hughes, to hold fast to dreams. For if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. You taught me, together, anything is possible. Together, anything is possible.
Class of 2021, may you continue to cultivate joy and seek justice everywhere.
May you fully step into your story and claim the vision of collective healing as your own.
May you live authentically and with a purpose that is rooted in equity for all.
May you hold fast to dreams so we may manifest a reality that includes you, me, and everybody as a community true to the love that brought us here and will take us far and beyond.
We now present the graduates for the degree of Master of Theological Studies.
Khadija Ali Mgayab,
Mia Applebaum,
Gregory Baker,
Emily Naomi Bogan,
Charlotte Pence Bond,
Fong Bui,
Miles Carey,
Clarice Carmichael,
Melissa Cedillo,
Sabine Denat,
Kyle Edward Dillon,
Giovanni Di Russo,
Taylor Donaldson,
Julie Elizabeth Estrada,
Mara K. Foley,
Lasadie Gravlin,
William Grogan, Margaret Jean Ham,
Saumya Arya Haas, Catherine Beulah Harwell,
Kate Hoding,
Michael Huang, Rahim B. Kanani, Farah Kashem,
Sarah Beth Kissel,
Andrew Klauber,
Vivian Christine Costin,
Adriana Krasniansky,
Madeline Jean Levy,
Julia Lopez,
Alexis Jimenez Maldonado,
Tanner McAllister,
Yao Mong,
Charles Mikhail,
Mary Moon,
Gracious Moyo,
Ebony Rain Nash,
James O'Leary,
Nami Patel,
Naman Patel,
Kaylee Danielle Paul,
Adnan Perwez,
CL Chi,
Zara Razuli,
John Riley,
Anna Ringheiser,
Claire Rostov,
Bethany Rose Sky Rosario,
Hamza bin Sajjad,
Daniel Sanders,
Jose A. Santos,
Salam Sabini,
Natalia Catherine Schween,
Reem Sheikh,
Jason Adam Sheets,
Malini Sri Krishna,
Matthew Nikolai Thomas,
Vivian Irene Chutzel,
Manor Omer,
Helen Hailin Wang,
Alex Watson,
Caitlin Wheeler,
Emily Weave Williams.
Dean Hempton, members of the faculty, family, and friends, I present to you the Master of Theological Studies graduates of 2021.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. Listen, 10 to 15 seconds is not a lot of time, but I did want to congratulate you and tell you that I know that this world is going to be a better place because of your love, your activism, and your scholarship. Congratulations!
You are the graduates that made it through the pandemic, online learning, and so much more. Y'all are brilliant and you're going to do great.
We'll miss you. We will never forget the COVID class. We hope that the rest of your life will be filled with joy and that you will take away great memories from Harvard Divinity School.
Congratulations from the library! Yay!
Yay! Class of 2021, congratulations. I'm sending you so much love and light.
Thank you so much for all that you've given us, for your persistence, for your perseverance, for your commitment, for all the things that you've taught us. Go safely into the future and with all of our best wishes.
Congratulations, graduates. It's been an honor to get to know so many of you, and I can't wait to see where the next step in your journeys take you.
Congratulations, class of 2021. Behind me, Andover Schwartz Hall is near completion. Sorry we can't be in there for this happy occasion, but you've done something greater. Constructing, deconstructing, reconstructing your lives mentally, spiritually, in terms of service, in the most difficult times, building a wonderful future.
Congratulations, HDS Class 2021. Best of luck, be safe, and be strong.
You did this, and you can do what's next. Congratulations.
Class of 2021, you did it. Mila and I wish you congratulations.
Mazel tov! You did it. We're so proud of you. You've been a blessing to us. Now go out and bless the world. And don't forget to come back.
IT and Media Services congratulates you on your magnificent accomplishment, knowing that you have the inner resources and resilience to make our world a better place.
Congratulations. It's been a pleasure to have met and worked with so many of you. All best wishes for the future, and please do remember to stay connected.
In these difficult years, you have blessed us with your resilience, your courage, and your hunger for justice. In the days ahead, may you be blessed with joy, wonder, and pure delight.
Hey there, class of 2021. I want to wish you well. Congratulations for all your hard work during this extraordinary time. We love you. Don't forget to come back.
You've changed us during your years at HDS, and we know you're going to change the world even more in the years to come. In fact, we're counting on it.
You should be proud of yourselves. You've done a great job. I hope you can enjoy this day. It is so special, even Bernie wanted a front row seat.
Congratulations on graduating. For those of you who I know, and especially even those who I know very well but never even met in person, but I'm still really happy for you and hope everything goes well hereafter. Hope you celebrate well.
Congratulations, class of 2021. Can't wait till we can all see each other again in person.
Mazel tov. You've done good. I can't wait to hear about the good you do next.
Felicidades a todos, todas y todex. And graduating from Harvard Divinity School, you did it. Of course you did. You made it. Your body, helped you through it. Every day you survived. You're alive, you're breathing, and you cultivated world-changing work. So thank you for being you, and I can't wait to see what's next for all of you. Mwah.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Kumek from Muslim Spiritual Care class. I am really happy to tell you that you guys all did great.
As you set out on the next chapter of your life's journey, I'd like to offer to every member of the class of 2021 my hearty congratulations. You did it.
Dear class of 2021, congratulations, you made it! Yay!
What courage you've shown. What grace under pressure. We will never forget you. May you always be blessed.
Graduating students, it is another year when I am not with you and I don't get to say congrats to you in person and hug you, and I am so sad about this. But know that all of us at HDS are celebrating you. We'll miss you and want you to stay in touch. Go get them.
This road has been full of challenges and detours for you. You have navigated them all with patience and grace.
It's been an honor to be, to work, to learn, to organize alongside you all. And I just want to wish you a big, big, big congratulations.
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 Congratulations, class of 2021.
On reaching your destination. Your next journey lies ahead.
God bless, good luck, and do come back to visit.
Congratulations.
We now present the graduates for the degree of Master of Divinity.
Sarah Bellflower.
Emma Grace Brewer-Wallen.
Jasmine Bloomer Buchanan.
Joris Felice Ami Burman.
Emmanuel Osue Correa Vasquez.
Anna Catherine Del Castillo.
Tara Dionath.
David Michael Diaz Jr.
Stephen Salido Fisher.
Sarah Fleming.
Amy Christina Grulick.
Sally Hamill.
Eleanor Dixon Hartley.
Alex Jensen.
J.Y. Lee.
Herbert Brune Levering III.
Robert McGinn.
Dr. Thomas Maridada.
Shira Mokul,
Eugene Nam,
Tian Nguyen,
James Ramsey,
Tony Sacco,
Carter Susanna Hodges Smith,
Jonathan Smith,
Kayla Jacques Smith,
Joe Sorensen,
Rowan Alexandra Van Ness,
Venerable Xianfeng,
Charlotte Catherine Zelli, Dean Hempton, members of the faculty, family, and friends, I present to you the Master of Divinity graduates of 2021.
Life is a balance of holding on and letting go. Rumi.
To the newest members of our alumni community, welcome.
As you move from a student to the next chapter,
we are here to help you stay connected to the Divinity School and to each other.
Serving in all 50 states and 64 countries across the globe,
the alumni community is here to support you in your next adventure.
Stay close, stay connected, and remember,
you are part of a community of seekers dedicated to justice and peace.
In service to a better world.
Congratulations.
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 I echo the expressions of congratulations already offered so eloquently to and by our graduating students. This is the first graduating class for which, because I have been teaching one of our introductory courses for the past few years, I have the privilege of saying that I have taught every MTS and MDiv degree recipient. Certainly, every commencement has its own significance and every class its own impact. But this one holds a kind of special meaning for me. Each name read today resonates with a particular sort of force. I'd like to think that I helped facilitate a distinctive kind of camaraderie and maybe even unity among this class. The shared misery of slogging through my course has proved an incomparable source of cohort bonding. You're welcome. As I thought about today's celebratory events, my reflections turned to a conversation from our most recent HDS Town Hall meeting. The Town Hall meeting as an HDS tradition is itself an emblem of our students and our schools' determination to pursue positive change within and beyond our walls. In the most recent Town Hall, held just a few weeks ago, the topic was the power and the promise of community connection. The meeting became a reflection on and a celebration of the connections that we, students, staff, and faculty, had labored to forge in the crucible of a year marked by loss and suffering, a year defined by twin pandemics of virulent disease and violent racism. One of the topics that came up in that conversation was the well-documented reality of a kind of reflexive suspicion of institutions, a skepticism that seems quite pervasive in our time. The sources for that anti-institutionalism are not difficult to find, nor are they hard to defend. Institutions, like biological organisms, have a well-documented history of seeking their own perpetuation at the expense of much else. The students, in a way that left a lasting imprint on me, talked about the tremendous act of courage and will that it takes within an institutional setting for incoming classes to build the sort of interpersonal trust required for optimal learning environments and outcomes. I'm grateful for the students' willingness to work with the staff and faculty in painstakingly building that mutual trust for the sake of our shared humanity and our common academic goals. I personally thank the class of 2021 for their remarkable work in that regard. As the most recent town hall discussion acknowledged the generational wariness of institutions and discussed HDS's specific successes and failures in addressing it, my colleague Charlie Hallisey, Numata Senior Lecturer of Buddhist Literatures, said something that deeply intrigued me. Charlie told the town hall audience that after a radical youth marked by anti-institutional skepticism, he had made a kind of conceptual peace with institutions, recognizing them as indispensable to the essential accomplishment of what he termed transgenerational objectives. In a subsequent exchange, Charlie further explained his point to me. Transgenerational projects, he noted, are the means by which we work together with the dead and with the not yet born. He continued, if the project of HDS is 205 years old, which it is, and each generation is 25 years apart, then over 8 generations have put their shoulders to that wheel, the HDS wheel, in part for the sake of those yet to come. As Charlie elaborated on the transgenerational implications of a school like ours, I began to think, too, of the intergenerational opportunities such a school offers. Schools not only do the necessary work of reaching across generations, but also of bringing them together at a shared and stable site, convening living people from different generations in the cooperative pursuit of knowledge. Such a definition may be particularly apt for HDS, where students from a range of life stages and faculty from a range of life stages and staff from a range of life stages congregate in the cause of learning. In the light of the transgenerational and intergenerational potential of educational institutions, and also in the light of the legacy of betrayed trust and a haunting awareness of institutions that ossify in the pursuit of their own interests, it seems to me that part of the burden of educational institutions is bound up with their potential benefit. That is, both blessings and dangers result from the quest for persistence. The class of 2021 and HDS have demonstrated that the dangers can in fact give way to the blessings on one condition. Persistence cannot mean stasis. As I considered the students' poignant comments and Charlie's striking point from the town hall, my mind was taken back to something I learned in my own graduate student days. It wasn't in the classroom. It wasn't even in the library or the archive. It was actually at my part-time job. As a young father that had 3 children by the time I finished my degree, I was constantly looking for ways to make some extra cash. In the later stages of my doctoral program, I began writing the public communications for an alternative energy startup. To do so, I got a crash course in the basic science behind renewable sources of electricity. The particular group I worked for focused on geothermal and solar energy, but I had to learn a little bit about other kinds. One of the things that I learned about was the harvesting of ocean wave energy. Put very simply, really crudely, this approach anchors a device out in the ocean. The kinetic energy of the waves moves an anchored object either vertically or horizontally, and as it moves, it spins the rotor shaft of a generator, converting that kinetic energy into electricity. In other words, the interaction between the waves and the object, the seemingly paradoxical ability of the waves to move the object while the object remains tethered to something solid. The tension between these two things generates a kind of productive energy or the power to make things happen. For this generative process to work, the waves must both move with and past the generative device. The device must be both responsive to the movement of the wave and well anchored to a grounded base. As I think about this class of students who have moved through and are now moving beyond this school like a rolling wave, I think also of this institution They have moved with the institution that was moved by their remarkable collective force, and the institution that will remain here enduringly for them to draw from and connect with again and again. The process of generating electricity unavoidably involves some friction. The action of a strong natural force encountering a ponderous contrivance can sometimes be a story of collision and torque. But it also has to have an element of harmony, of an ability of wave and object to stay in contact, engaged, cooperative to the same ultimate end. This class, the class of 2021, has repeatedly demonstrated that ability and a kind of courageous willingness to engage, even in circumstances of historically unprecedented difficulty. And we, all of us, I believe, are the better for it. Having served as the acting dean this past semester, I have a newfound appreciation for the truly unique kinds of capacity for good that result when an institution of very serious intellectual commitments, those commitments are crucial, an institution anchored resolutely to the values of academic excellence encounters a new wave of ideals and ideas. For this process to generate optimal effect, the school cannot become unmoored from its commitment to intellectual depth, nor can it fail to be moved when fresh currents of student vision and vitality arrive with power to do great work. If you'll allow me to torture this analogy just one more step, it bears noting that it can also be flipped. From the perspective of the students' lives, it is HDS that acted as the passing wave of change, and the student subjects whose souls are the source of potential persistence. HDS hopefully was a force for new understandings and new expertise that interacted generatively with the students who hold weighty values, ethical, religious, political values, and insist on staying true to core convictions. As students allowed for shared motion without abandoning the devotions whose very weight contributed to, rather than prevented, the generative exchange, new energies were the result. This suggests the age-old challenge of discerning which commitments should be responsive to the waves of change and which productively interact with those waves precisely by not easily giving way. This tense process of discernment in determining what moves and what persists is the challenging and essential task of every student of independent mind and of every institution that aspires to transgenerational and intergenerational value. The class of 2021 and the Harvard Divinity School have helped me see this more clearly. The class now move out to bring their understanding and energy into generative encounter with other communities and other institutions all around the world, and to let the anchor points of their own convictions stretch or yield or strengthen by encounter with the waves of change yet to come. I have come to understand over these years that Harvard Divinity School facilitates such encounters in a distinctive and, for me, marvelous way, partly by its readiness to move and partly by its resolve to persist. I am honored to be part of this place that's capable of harnessing such energy, when student and institution both allow for shared movement and recognize the need for resolute connection and conviction, something electric results. We as the staff, the faculty, and administration of HDS have been moved by the presence of the class of 2021. We trust, we hope, that we have moved them too. And I know I have experienced the power of the exchange. Once again, thank you. And once again, congratulations.